Hi and welcome back to another episode of the AQA GCSE History Britain, Health and the People revision series. This is episode 12 and we're looking at anaesthetics. Pain was a big issue for surgeons, especially since the patient could die from the shock of extreme pain. Natural drugs like alcohol, opium and mandrake had been used for a long time, but effective anaesthetics that didn't make the patient feel ill were difficult to produce. Nitrous oxide was identified as a possible anaesthetic by British chemist Humphrey Davy in 1799, but he was ignored by surgeons at the time. The gas had been dismissed to a fairground novelty before American dentist Horace Wells suggested its use in his area of work. He did a public demonstration in 1845, but had bad luck as his patient was unaffected by the nitrous oxide. Yet again it was dismissed. In 1842, American doctor Crawford Long discovered an anaesthetic qualities of ether, but didn't publish his work. The first public demonstration of ether as an anaesthetic was carried out in 1846 by American dental surgeon William Morton. Ether irritated the patient's lungs, and it was very explosive, so that's why the use was very risky. James Simpson was a professor of midwifery at Edinburgh University, and he tried to find a safe alternative to ether that women could take during childbirth. He began to experiment with other chemicals by testing them out on himself. In 1847, Simpson discovered the useful effects of chloroform. He found it was easier to use than ether. It took effect more quickly and less was needed to achieve the same result. After Queen Victoria gave birth to her 8th child while using chloroform in 1853, it became widely used in operating theatres to reduce pain and in childbirth. Anaesthetics led to longer and more complex operations. This was because surgeons found that unconscious patients were easier to operate on, meaning that they could take longer over their work. Longer operation times led to higher death rates from infection because surgeons didn't know that poor hygiene spread disease. Surgeons used very unhygienic methods. Surgeons didn't know that having clean clothes could save lives. Often they wore the same coat for years, which were covered in dried blood and pus from previous operations. Operations were often carried out in unhygienic conditions, including at the patient's house. Operating instruments also caused infection because they were usually unwashed and dirty. Anaesthetics helped solve the problem of pain, but patients were still dying from infection. This meant that the attempt to more complicated surgeries led to the increase in death rates. The period between 1846 and 1870 is known as the Black Period of surgery for this exact reason. So that's the end of episode 12 of the AQA GCSE History, Britain, Health and the People revision series. Next episode we'll be looking at antiseptics. Thank you for watching and I hope you enjoyed.